Ticket Machine is the official ticket broker of Spartan Nation. No matter what you need a ticket for, border to border, coast to coast, the Ticket Machine is your ticket source. So whether you need to get into the hottest concerts, the best sporting events, you want the best seats in the house, or you just want to get in the door, when you want to go to any event that requires a ticket, anywhere, border to border, coast to coast, it's always theticketmachine.com. Theticketmachine.com, 517-655-3201. Check it out today at theticketmachine.com.
Welcome back to Spartan Nation. We now bring in longtime Spartan Nation contributor, legendary prep football and basketball coach in the state of Michigan, the great Coach Chuck Grenier, for our weekly Good, Bad, and Ugly segment. Michigan State falls to 6-5 on the year with one of the ugliest displays of offensive football I've ever seen. I want to say this. Adrian Martinez, who is going to be a superstar. I think that guy is going to be a Heisman contender when it comes to what's going on at Nebraska. I think he's that good. He's had multiple starts. And Rocky Lombardi, it was Rocky's second start. Rocky was 15 of 41. Martinez was 16 of 37. So there was one completion difference. Rocky also had 7 drops. Not he dropped, obviously, but his receivers did. Rocky's quarterback rating was 26.4. Adrian Martinez's was 11.3. And running, Rocky Lombardi had 9 rushes for 53 yards. Martinez, who is a known runner, 7-yard rushes for 18 yards. Rocky Lombardi clearly outplayed him, but it doesn't matter. Another heroic, wasted defensive performance. Michigan State, 7 drops, 5 personal fouls. You can go right down the line. This was equally the fault of coaching, players, not on the defense. We'll start with we're going to go backwards, the good, the bad, the ugly. We're going to start with the ugly, the Michigan State offense. Coach Grenier, where am I wrong?
Well, you're not wrong at all. There's just so much there. I don't know where to start on it. There's poor coaching. There's poor play. Some of the players looked like they didn't want to be there. It was a debacle. There's no doubt about it. It's a debacle. And again, you're going into a game, and you do try some new stuff, and you do try a little bit of this and a little bit of that, but it's so sparingly that it was a benefit at times, and it's just hard to understand why when you see some things that do work and you do so little of it. I'm talking about rolling out and waggle and that sort of thing, where you're moving outside the pocket, giving them a little bit more chance. But then you can see some of the poor coaching involved there too, and how they perform their tasks. So no, it's been all year frustrating to watch, and it was just another example on Saturday of how it's hard to watch. That's no other way to put it.
Coach, I want to read with you some statistics. You ready for this one?
Yeah.
MSU has had one game with a 100-yard rusher in 2018. Last time MSU had only one game with a 100-yard rusher in a season was 2009. This is the fewest offensive yards, 3,506, through 11 games since 1991 when they had 3,142. This is the fewest rushing yards, 1,329 through 11 games since 2003 when they had 1,129. Barring something crazy in the last two games, meaning Rutgers in the bowl game, MSU will not finish with 2,000 rushing yards for the first time since 2012. MSU has not had back-to-back games with a player with 100 yards in each game since 2016. First time MSU has been held without at least one offensive touchdown in back-to-back games since the end of the 1983 season, Iowa and Wisconsin. Third down efficiency is on pace to be the worst since the 2000 season, currently at 53 of 166. That's 31.9% compared to 31.2% in 2000. MSU is averaging 4.8 yards per play, making it the first time under an average of 5 since 2012. Your thoughts?
Well, that's pretty bad. That's real bad. And you start talking about rushing yardage, and the first question that popped in my mind when you said that is, who is the running back? And I think the best running back that you have in there is Haywood. And why he runs hard. He's not a great running back, but he does run hard for the type of offense they're putting there on the field. But then they yank him and they put in Jefferson, who is not the quality, I don't believe, of Haywood for the type of offense they run. And then next thing I thought, when you said rushing, Antoine Simmons ran the ball for one play, got hit hard, and fumbled. And I'm just, question I had in my mind when I'm watching that is, why is he running the ball? So, it's easy to see how the offense is not performing when you do things like that. And you don't run your best running back that you have on the squad at important times of the game. You throw in a few plays that seem to be off of your regular agenda. I'm talking about they ran the double running back play, and then they needed the first down, and they ran a split running back, and Jefferson carried it off tackle on kind of a crossbuck action. That's not typical of Michigan State, but it worked. And so you're kind of like grasping at straws in some respects, but then you go back to your basic offense, and you keep changing players, putting players that don't belong in there. You don't get continuity to your offense. You don't get a flow. You don't get I guess the term today is rhythm. You don't get a rhythm in your offense. So you get running backs that's running hard, and then you yank them and put somebody else in there. And I just scratch my head and I watch and I say, what are you trying to do? And I can't figure it out.
Yeah, I agree. Coach, I talked with several coaches after the game, like I always do, because I like to get enough assessment to make sure what I'm seeing with my eyes isn't lying to me. I'm going to read you some of the things that I got. One coach said to me, "You need to ask Mark D'Antonio if he was calling plays. I only got to watch the game side of it, but in the game he was clearly looking at the play card and talking to his headset the whole time. That's not a coach asking what play are you calling. It clearly to me looked like he was calling plays." Did you see that?
Of course, I saw that all year long, and it doesn't make any sense. If you've hired somebody to game plan, let the man do the job. And if he's not doing the job, then you got to get rid of him. But if you're interfering and doing that, and, by the way, if you want to add something in there on that, we're moving the ball, and it looks like we're starting to get that rhythm going again, and we can't throw the ball well. It's just a nasty day out there. The receivers are having trouble hanging on to the ball. And I'm not the only one that notices that. It's Nebraska. So Nebraska's got their ears pinned back, and they're attacking because they know they're going to be running the ball and not passing it, so everybody's up close. And then you throw in these two if you can't throw the ball and you throw wildcat plays in there, you've automatically taken the idea that we can't possibly throw the ball here unless you're trying to set something up, but that doesn't work either. But you run those two wildcat plays that are basically dead in the water plays that you know that you're going to run. So whoever called those plays, the wildcat plays, I don't know. That was. I was looking at the board and reading what the people on the board said. They're probably out of their seats wondering, like, what the heck are you doing? So, yeah, I think there's interference in the offensive coaches. I think coach is probably interfering and making calls and saying, do this. But I think there's so many problems on the offensive side right now. It's really hard to pin down exactly what exactly is the problem. I think all coaches, all head coaches have got a voice and make a decision in everything on the football field, from special teams, defense to offense. If he's overriding the game planning and just saying do this instead, that's a major problem.
Coach,
Unless you're an offensive-minded coach like at Purdue, though that guy's pretty smart on the offense. But there you go.
I want to ask you real quick. Give me your assessment of Rocky Lombardi. When you compare him to Adrian Martinez, it's only his second start. They didn't get him reps. They haven't done a lot to develop him, and in that environment, no excuses. I'm asking you what you thought of Rocky Lombardi.
Well, development, there's a key word right there that you threw in. Now, I think Rocky Lombardi did an excellent job. I think there was not an excellent job done by the coaches prior to that. And I'll give you a couple examples. I wrote this on the board. They ran a rollout to the right side, headed towards the sideline, and every time that Lombardi left the pocket and rolled, either on the waggle or a rollout or something, those plays were good. They could have succeeded, or they did succeed. But he's running laterally to the sidelines at a high pace, throws across his body. That's coaching. That's coaching right there. Now, if he's arcing or making a little loop out there, then he throws the ball downhill. He's probably got a better chance of completion. If he's running hard to the sidelines and a rollout like that, I always coach that if you're rolling out or bootlegging or waggling or whatever you're doing on that one, that play automatically is a run. And if you can't run the ball, then throw the ball because they're defending the run. So that's another one. The second play I'll point out to you that is poor coaching on this one is the way that he's throwing the ball right now, and then this goes for Lewerke just the same. They throw the ball with their arms. They don't use their body. They don't use proper posture, their steps, so that's where and on this particular play that I'm going to mention, Stewart is slanting over the middle of the field, and he's open. And if Lombardi throws a good ball on this one, if he throws a good ball, that's going to be a first down, and we're going to continue going on, maybe score. Who knows? But if you watch that play, he's all spread out. He's looking like Justin Verlander throwing a slider. And if you watch the play, his left foot is pointed way behind the route that Stewart is, and your body will have a natural response, sometimes if you're not aware of it, that the ball will go towards where your left toe points, and it's thrown behind. Defender makes the play. Now, that's coaching. That's all that is. He's throwing the ball too hard. He's not aware of what's going on. So, but as far as running the ball, as far as leadership on the field, as far as determination on the field, the players being behind him, I think Rocky Lombardi is doing a good job. When he does make a good pass on that one, his receivers drop the ball. He had one that was a touchdown, one that could have been a near touchdown. But he had one touchdown pass drop. He had one that could have been close to it if the tight end maybe leaps a little bit for it. But it was kind of high and wide. But you got to try to make those catches. So plays were there. The difficulty that Rocky is having right now is throwing the ball downfield. And on the deep routes, he just does not quite have that touch yet. I think that's mechanics again, and I think that's experience. But I think Rocky Lombardi is doing a really good job with the situation that's handed to him. And that is trying to run the same old things the way you did without the players' ability to do it. I'm talking about the running game and the injuries to the wide receivers.
All right, let's now talk about that's the ugly. The good, I think you got to talk about this defense. I said it during the game. I'm going to say it again. They will not go down in the history books of MSU football with the respect that they deserve. This is a playoff defense. Not saying they're perfect, but it's a playoff defense that absolutely being underserved, underrespected. Go.
Well, there's no doubt about it. I've mentioned this many times before on the program. You got to be strong up the middle. The defensive tackles, all four of them, are playing excellent ball. Willikis is playing out of his head.
Coach, we're losing you again. You're going in and out.
I'm sorry. Willikis is playing out of his mind. The secondary is playing well. Kari Willis is playing Big Ten caliber, all Big Ten caliber football. So was Willikis, so is Bocce, so is the two interior defensive tackles. When you've got that much going for you defensively, and you have D'Antonio had an opportunity there. I think it was the second last possession of going for a fourth down play, but he had as much respect for that defense that he punted it away, and they stifled Nebraska to get the ball back. So, they're playing so well right now. It's just a shame the offense can't be mediocre. They're not even to the mediocre stage. So it's a wasted season for a defense like that.
Okay. And now let's talk about the one other good thing is I clearly think that Matt Coughlin, the kicker, is having a great season.
Well, he missed the one field, hit the upright, and you got to go back and you got to claim that offense again for that.
Well,
but get that 15-foot or 15-yard penalty.
Right.
If they're not kicked back another 15 yards, that ball's going to go through, and then we're at 9-9 at the end of the game. So Conklin is doing great. Terrible adverse conditions for a kicker, a place kicker in Nebraska with that wind and the cold and the snow and everything. But yes, doing an excellent job. Agree.
All right, now I want to go to, quite frankly, this should be the ugly, but the punt return game. Can we not catch a freaking punt? Why are we letting them roll and roll and roll and roll? That's hurting. We have a bad offense that's being not helped by a bad special teams, and I'm not blaming Brandon Sowards because clearly this is what Coach wants, because if it wasn't, we know he's pulled guys before.
I don't know. Why we can't catch a punch? I don't know. It looks to me on TV watching this game that we put the punt returner in a certain spot, and if the punt is coming to you within 10 yards of you, catch the ball, and we'll go from there. But if you have to move to where the ball is, move back or up or something, then just let it go. That's exactly what it looks like on TV to me. And you saw in Ohio State how that just absolutely killed us. And so it's baffling, I guess. Baffling is the word to use.
Yeah. I'm going to ask Coach D about it this week, and I'm going to say clearly, because you haven't made a change, he's doing something that you like, or you would have made a change. What is it that you like about punts rolling and taking your mediocre offense at best and pinning them inside their own territory? It makes no sense to me.
Yeah, it does. In this offense, as poor as it's playing, well below mediocrity, you need to have as many yards closer to the end zone than you are just for a possibility of a field goal attempt. So why burden your offense with another 15 or 20 yards that they have to make up? Makes absolutely no sense to me at all.
No, totally agree. He is the great Coach Chuck Grenier. Know him, love him, appreciate him, interact with him at the official message board of the Spartan Nation, Phalanx Forum, PHALANXFORUM.com. It's 100% free to register. And you can go there, register today, and start interacting with Spartan fans from around the world, or go to SpartanNation.com and click on the message board icon. We'll be back right after this on the Spartan Nation Radio Network. On the Spartan Nation Radio Network. On the Spartan Nation Radio